Hi, I'm Heather French Henry, and welcome to Influential Leader Hour. Today, joining me is Christine Trimpe, and we're going to be talking about her being a wellness coach, a speaker, and the author of SugarFreed. So, welcome, Christine.
Thank you for having me.
Now, many people struggle with emotional eating, but don't realize they have a food addiction. So, how can someone recognize the difference between just a normal craving and what food addiction really is?
Right. And that is important to identify because God did make us to crave. However, craving junk food, craving sugar, craving foods high in carbohydrates are really detrimental to our health. So some things that I experienced in my own journey and what I coach women through is a lot about our secrets, like our secret eating, our secret stashes. If we find that we are living a lifestyle that we are always keeping things secret, then there could be a deeper rooted sugar addiction there that needs to be addressed. So it's all about the secrets.
When we talk about the severity of addiction, I've heard you talk about sugar addiction almost like drug addiction. So talk us through that a little bit.
Yeah, people are talking more and more about sugar being so addictive. First of all, it's hyper palatable. Our factory foods are manufactured to keep us coming back for more. Our brain wants that reward. So the addictive nature of drugs, the addictive nature of gambling, social media, sugar, it's our brain's way of saying, hey, I need some attention, and it's craving that dopamine hit.
When we talk about setbacks and plateaus on a weight loss journey, this becomes a struggle for not just women, but men also. And it can be really discouraging. So what advice would you have for women who feel stuck?
Oh, I was stuck for 30 years. My best advice is to try something new and to really dig in and lean into the mindset. And then for my faith-based coaching clients and for myself, the most important thing that we can do is trust God. God created our bodies to heal, and He can heal our bodies if we show up and we do the work. I always love to say that when we show up, God shows off, and He certainly is doing that in the women that are being set free from these sugar addictions, from years of being overweight and obese, and just crushing those sugar cravings is a new thing that I didn't hear about for 30 years.
Well, building a community is really important. Women have been doing that for generations, but in coming into a community about weight loss and strength and building that sisterhood, how have you done that for the women that you've worked with, and how do you encourage other women to go out and build communities?
When I first put my coaching program together, I spent a lot of time in prayer. Is this going to be one-on-one? Is it going to be group coaching? And I am so thankful that I decided to make it a group coaching environment, group coaching community. And then in my sugar addiction training, I learned that women are more successful when they are in a group coaching community. And so I was very grateful that that's how I set up my coaching program. And it is amazing. When we get together on these Zoom rooms, anything goes. I mean, we have tears, we have laughter, we have celebrations, we have victory marches, all of that. But there is something to be said. And I believe that I attract women because I know where you are, and I know where you've been, and I know where you want to be. So
that must be very encouraging for them.
Yes.
Excellent. Well, let's talk about sustainable food habits. What are some daily habits outside even of food choices that can help women maintain not just the physical, but the spiritual and the mental well-being in their life?
Yeah, so the SugarFreed Method is just not all about food. I actually have 5 pillars. It's food, fasting, feelings, fitness, and it's all by faith. All right. So besides the food, choosing nutritious foods, we do a lot about fasting. We don't have to eat around the clock. So we learn about our hunger cues. And then feelings, we have to identify. When I was coping with food for 30 years as a sugar addict, my emotions were very dysregulated. So we're going to learn to identify them. Feelings are not a bad thing. God gave us feelings for a reason. And then fitness. I'm not a gym nut, but fitness is so important. We have to move our bodies. And now I do it as an act of worship because I get to move my body now. So it's so fun. And then every part of my coaching, every part of my book, everything I say, do, write, and speak is on a foundation of faith.
What do you say to someone who might not have the strongest support system at home, and how do you bring family into that?
Yes, I encounter this all the time. In fact, I still live with people that eat a lot of sugar. So it is, again, in the group coaching community, we run these scenarios like, how do you talk to your husband about this? And how do you approach social situations? These are the types of conversations that we have in group coaching on a weekly basis. But really, the best advice I give my new clients is you have to sit down and you have to have a conversation with your family. You have to get them they might not want to eat the same way you do, and that's fine, but you have to let them know where your heart is and why you are setting out on this journey, what the importance is, what the impact is going to be on not just your physical health, but my husband talks to people all the time about how my emotional health has changed, and there's just much more harmony in the house.
Right. Happy wife, happy life.
Exactly.
I love that. So share with us before we go about your HEART acronym.
Oh, I love this. This I got from my life verse where David writes in Psalm 4:7, you have filled my heart with greater joy than when your grain and new wine abound. Now, David is talking about a harvest season, talking about food, and I literally went through this journey and the Lord filled my heart with greater joy than the food I used to cope with. So I created a HEART acronym. The heart is the well-being of life, and we have to handle our emotions. H, handle our emotions. E, examine our thoughts. A, ask for motivation. R, run with courage. And T, take action. Nothing is going to change until we take action.
I love that. Thank you so much, Christine. We appreciate you being on here.
Thank you.